Questions about financial aid award, meeting your needs, how to read that. I'm just about to talk about that, Miss Sharon. You're right, great intro. So there are some special programs, you guys. Some of us have heard that right now in the state of California, that tuition is free for 2 years for every single student who's interested in attending, no matter how much money students are making, okay? Students and families. That is true. It's called the California Promise Program. So here are the rules of the Promise Program, okay? I get free tuition for 2 years if I complete my FAFSA or my CADA on time by the deadline. So for you guys is March 2nd. If I miss that deadline, it kicks me out of the program. So I have to make sure my FAFSA or CADA is submitted by March 2nd. Number 2, I have to be a full-time student. That means I have to be taking at least 12 units, but can take up to 15. 12 units, you guys, is usually 3 or 4 classes, okay? Typically 4 classes. And I have to be the first time enrolled in college as a high school graduate. So if you are currently at Visions and you're taking classes here, but you're also taking classes at ARC or Sac City or CRC as a high school student, you are completely okay, because once you graduate, now you're a first time enrolled as a college student. But what gets families is making sure their FAFSA and CADA are done on time. A lot of our upper middle class families will be like, oh, I'm not going to get anything, I'm not going to do it. Well, if you don't do it, then you're paying for the free 2 years when you don't really need to, okay? What I want to share is here in our local area, you guys, our Los Rios program. So that's ARC, Folsom Lake, Sac City, and CRC. They're all sister campuses. They have the deadline for March 2nd. But just to give you guys a heads up, they use a tier system. So they will offer free tuition until their money runs out. So if you get your application, your FAFSA or your CADA in by March 2nd, you're in that first tier. So you're first in line to get free tuition. Then they have another date that's like in June and another date that's like in September. So I tell students, if you meet that April 2nd deadline, you are on point to get free tuition, okay? And you will also notice that they have a contract that you have to sign in order to get it. They will give you lots of information, tell you exactly where to sign that contract, but just kind of giving you guys a heads up if you're thinking about staying here local. Questions about California Promise? No, it's not. We have lots of other information. Okay, so what I want to do is kind of just break down the application for you guys in the next few minutes. So now the new FAFSA has always had a student section and a parent section. Now we call it the student section and the contributor section. So what's new this year is, as the student, you are going to be asked about information about you. So your student identity information, your name, your address, social security number, that kind of stuff. They're going to ask you about your personal circumstances. They're going to ask you about your finances. Did you work? Did you earn any money? Do you have savings accounts? Those kinds of things. But what's new is that students, they're going to ask you to invite your parents to be part of your FAFSA to complete their section. So parents, it's important because students are now going to be asked for your name, your social security number, your date of birth, and your email address. So in order for you to have access to their FAFSA, you're going to have to be invited. So as part of the application, they're going to ask you, who would you like to invite to your FAFSA? You're going to say, I would like to invite my mom and dad. So you're going to put your mom's information in there, invite her. You're going to put your dad's information and invite him, okay? And then student, you're going to be able to review your section and sign it with your username and password, your FSA ID, and you're going to be able to submit it. But that doesn't mean your FAFSA is submitted. You did your part, okay? Then the next piece is then mom and dad get an email saying, hey, Layla has invited you to complete your portion of her FAFSA. And so now it's my turn as a contributor. So I log in with my username and password. I answer all the questions. They're going to ask me demographic information too, my name, my address, my phone number. Do I work? Do I file taxes? How do I file? One of the things that's going to happen on both ends, student and family, student and contributor, so student and parent, they're going to ask you to provide consent for direct data exchange from the IRS. In order for your FAFSA to be completed, you have to provide consent. So literally, it's a little box. They're going to give you like a little blurb. At the end, you're going to say, yes, I, Layla, consent that the FAFSA get my information, my financial information from the IRS directly. So we're saying, yes, I'm okay with that direct data exchange. I have to consent as a parent, so does the student. Okay, so all of the contributors have to consent. Then, as parents, we sign, use our usernames and passwords, and we review and we submit. Our documents are submitted when I have completed my student section, parents have completed the contributor section, you have signed your FAFSA, and you have submitted your FAFSA. Then you can say, yay, my financial aid application is done. Okay? Questions about the new changes?
So Layla, essentially it's not all on one application like previously. It's kind of separated between student and contributor.
So it's still one application, but now they only allow the student to access the student part and the contributor to access the contributor part.
Okay.
So it's still one form. Okay. But like before, we would be able to see like the student and the parent section all in one entire form. Now, like if I log as the student, I'm going to see my stuff, but I can't see the contributor stuff, and vice versa.
Okay. And then Ariel, do you have your hand raised if you want to quickly ask your question?
Is the FAFSA and the financial ID like connected in a way? Like, do we do our financial ID and then it leads us to FAFSA?
Yes. So your FAFSA ID, your FSC ID is your username and password to log into your FAFSA form. So you need to create your username and password to log into your FAFSA. And then once you complete your section, you're going to use that username and password to sign it. So yes, they're very much connected.
Yeah, great question. I think other people were asking that. And then another question we have is, how many contributors do we need?
It just depends on your family dynamic. And so like if both my parents are married, I live with them, they take care of me, and they both work and they file their taxes together, we would include both of them. If your parents are single parents, you would only do one parent. We have some students that are in legal guardianships or emancipated minors, meaning that they don't have any contact with their parents. If that's the case and there's a court document that says that that your grandma's your legal guardian or that you have gone to court and emancipated yourself from your parents, then they won't ask you for parent information. You only put student information. But there's a part in the application that will ask you questions to determine if you have to report your parent information. I would say 90% of us do report our parent information because our parents are the ones who take care of us. I did have a question about marriage. So if you do get married, that's actually something that makes you a separate family from your current family. So if you as a student get married, then you would be an independent student and you would report both your income and then your spouse's income. Will you need to pay anything back? The only thing you have to pay back is the student loans. Remember, our grants are offered to our students to be able to support them as they're going to college. Now, if you are a student who just decides to take the money and run, there is a situation in which you could possibly pay back grants, but I would say the majority of students accept the grant-free money as they're moving forward in their educational journey. So very rarely does that happen, but really it's only the student loans. And then just a few more slides, you guys, and then we'll open it up for general questions. This is also a great slide to take a picture of. These are just some tips and tricks to remember. Remember, students, that you are applying for the 24-25 FAFSA. So you're applying for the year that you're going to be in college. Okay, and remember that doesn't open until December. If you were to go onto the to the website right now, there is a FAFSA available, but it's available for this year, 23-24. We don't want you to do that. We want you to do 24-25.